What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? You are on the sidelines with the Sideline Guys. And today, people, as you can see, I'm joined by two very esteemed guests in the OTS family. Of course, we start with my guy, the Podfather himself, right? The reason why we're all here today, looking bright, looking good. My guy, Derrick Myers. How's it going, bro?
Good, good. How y'all doing?
Good.
Even better now.
My boy.
Yes.
But it's only right. It's only right that we introduce our guy. It's like one of those episodes when a lot of your favorite sitcoms they do like a crossover episode. We got Life's a Botch in here, TSG representing.
Let's
This
go.
isn't his first rodeo either, so he's here to represent on the
Come on.
sideline, guys. My guy Dwayne, how's it going, bro?
Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is great to be back in the Sideline Guys arena, man. You know what I'm saying? It's been a long time, and I'm
Yeah.
always an avid listener in the background. They know I listen like a hawk, so I'll be peeping because I want to see how they respect certain teams out here. You know what I'm saying? But hey, I shout out to these guys because they know what they talking about. And if y'all don't know, make sure y'all know. You feel me? So, what's up, y'all?
Hell yeah. And speaking of, if y'all don't know, make sure you're following the brand on all social media platforms, OTS Media Co. And make sure that you're following me on Twitter and the TikTok machine at Negron MMA. Derek, why don't you tell the people where they can find you?
Yes, sir. You can follow me at Derrick underscore OTS. That's Derrick. The black way to spell it.
Come on.
And you already know the highlight. Where can they find you, bro?
Hey, you already know, man. Make sure you follow your boy on all platforms at Hi-Lite Life. That is high like HILITE Life on all social media platforms.
Yes, sir. So with all the pleasantries out of the way, we got some battles to get to, god damn it.
Come
And it's
on.
only right that we start with the hottest question of the 2024 season,
Ooh.
and that's who our Super Bowl picks are. So Dwayne, I know you're no stranger to the format here.
Okay.
I'm throwing to you early and often. Who
Okay.
you got in the big game and who do you have winning it?
Whoo, man, oh man, oh man, oh man. That is a tough, tough question. There's so many different ways you can go, and I'm not even gonna hold you. There's a lot of contenders in this season that got me hyped. But the more I look back and I kind of think, listening in to different thoughts, I say to myself, I got the Lions coming out the NFC because I feel like they got a little bit robbed last year, just a little bit, and I think they're gonna be on a bit of a revenge tour. So I feel like the Lions gonna come out the NFC one time, and we're gonna get that miracle we thought we were gonna get from them last year. But the AFC is a little tricky because I know people quickly want to say the story of the year is that can the Chiefs three-peat? Can they get that three-peat? And I ain't gonna hold you. As great as Mahomes may be, this ain't the year that's gonna happen, my friend. I don't think we get that three-peat. But that GOAT conversation will still come because I feel like he'll get more championships in the future, of course. He just ain't three-peating this year. So out the AFC, man, you know what? For my guy Chris one time, you know why I'm gonna do this pick. I'm going with the Ravens, bro. You know why, but I'm going with the Ravens specifically for one individual that I feel deserves to be on that bright stage and get a ring on a solidified career that's already Hall of Fame lot, baby. Give me the Ravens. And then the winner, again, Chris, you're probably going to love this for obvious reasons. Give me the Ravens to win the Super Bowl this year in 2024.
Damn. At this point, I'm convinced you're just trying to butter me up, right? You trying to get me to get my guard down early. I fucking love it. I
Oh,
love that
man.
both of you guys also have the Ravens in the Super Bowl. I hope I'm
Come
not
on.
tipping your hand here, Derek. We already mentioned it last week, but has
Yeah.
anything changed? Are we staying solidified with your Super Bowl pick?
I stick with what I say. I'm going Eagles, Ravens, Super
Come on.
Bowl.
Okay.
We need that bird battle. I think it's gonna be one for the ages. I
Okay.
think both sides of the ball are gonna be dynamic,
Okay.
and I'm gonna go with the Eagles on that one. I'm gonna go with the Eagles
Mm.
on that one. They went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago, and Um, Lost that one. Um, hmm, Bradbury. Anyway, and the Fields keeper. Let's just put it at two. But everyone. Yeah, I think the Eagles will redeem themselves and they'll get that title. But it's
Okay.
gonna be a close game. It's gonna be a close game.
I fucking love it. Both of you guys have my Ravens in the big game,
Come
and
on.
I don't. I just got to be humble, right? You gotta be humble on the show.
I
But
respect
I'm
it.
sticking with my guns. I picked the Chiefs to face the 49ers in the three-peat rematch, right, in the Super
Mm,
Bowl. But
okay.
I am going with Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs to do it for this
Mm,
season. Who knows? We know who I'm gonna be rooting for. That's all I have to say. But
Yeah,
my head, you got to go with the brain over the heart, right? So
let's
yeah,
go.
yeah,
with that being said, we didn't get out our MVP picks last week. We had some more time to think about it. So Derek, it's
yeah.
only
Mm-mm,
right that you lead the
no,
dance. Our MVP of
no.
OTS.
Mm.
Kick that to Dwayne, bro.
He's not
I
ready. He's
He
not
I'm
said,
not
"Kick that."
ready for
ready.
that one.
You know what? I'll step up. I'll
Go ahead,
step
and
up.
step up, Chris. You got it.
Somebody can't be scared to
Come
pull
on.
that three, right? You got to be ready to rock when the ball comes around. So you know what? For my MVP pick, it took me a while. I was really considering a lot of different options. Obviously, Pat Mahomes is the obvious one, but I wanted to go a little dark horse here, and I think this also goes in line with Dwayne's Super Bowl pick. I'm going to
Mhm.
go with Jared Goff. I think if this team does well enough and their record looks good enough with the way he's been playing, especially getting more weapons on that side of the ball, too, I just feel like this team is poised to make a deep run. And the more success they have, the better it looks on him. So give me Jared Goff.
Okay, okay. I rocks with that. I rocks with that. That's a good pick, bro. That's a real good pick. Hmm. You know what? I'm gonna hit y'all with one that's gonna blindside y'all a little bit. You can talk. You can call that a long shot, throwing it out there. I know it's a little spotty and tricky because we don't know what this person gonna look like. However, I just get a strange feeling. This might be a case. I could be wrong, but hey, I'm gonna go with old Kirko Cousins. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
Yeah, hey man. Think about it now. Think about it. Technically speaking, statistically, this man has always put up good numbers. Now I know it don't
Yeah.
always translate in the postseason, but remember, MVP is a regular season type of award, like we talk with the NBA. So if there's one
Hmm.
thing he gonna do, he gonna definitely sling that thing, and he got all kind of weapons from Kyle Pitts,
Awesome.
Drake London, Bijan Robinson. I mean, he's got weapons now. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
he's
yeah, yeah.
gonna he's gonna probably likely. Definitely, especially with Kyle Pitts, man. I'm big on that connection between him and Kyle Pitts this year. He loves his tight ends, and I feel like they're gonna just click like magic. So as long as Kyle Pitts is healthy, of course. But yeah, man, give me Kirko.
They are
Already
there are
tweaking a
reports.
hammy right before
Yeah.
week one. Just
Man,
not beating the
listen,
allegations at all.
listen. Don't even remind me, bro. I already got this man, and I'm like, I took a chance on him. Don't get hurt already, bro. Come on now. Come on,
Yeah, a lot of people are waiting for Kyle Pitts to prove him right for sure. Derek, are
for
you ready?
sure.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I'm gonna go with Lamar Jackson on this one. I think it's gonna be a
Mm,
Wow,
special
back to
season.
back.
okay. All
I
right.
think it's gonna be a
Going
special season
back
for
and
him.
back.
I actually
Okay.
think it's gonna be. I think the MVP race is gonna be close. I think we're gonna have a lot of contenders that you're gonna sit and yeah. But I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it to Lamar on this one.
Okay.
Love that pick for obvious reasons, but
Yeah.
I got to give Jalen Hurts some love too, right? Not
I
just
know.
because
I
those are
Oh,
the
know. I know.
guys,
okay.
but
Yeah.
Okay.
especially people forget that this team was 10-1. Obviously, everyone talks about the collapse, right?
Mm-hmm.
This team is poised to do great things this year, and I gotta believe in the evolution of Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson this year. So I agree, it's gonna be a big battle between
Okay.
all these contenders. I fucking love it. Our
Come on.
next our next award goes to the coach of the year. Now, this one's a little more niche. This one's a little harder to figure out. Um, I think I like who I'm going with though, right? Because we know this award comes with narratives, right? You gotta look at it with who that surprise quote unquote team might be and who might have the best story of the season, right? Sometimes that's a little more important than your actual play. Now, all things considered, um, this one was pretty easy for me. I'm a big fan of this team, and I hope everyone involved can stay healthy because I think they could make me look pretty smart right here. I'm going with Shane Steichen of the Indianapolis
Yes.
Colts. I think this team, if AR can stay healthy, and even if he ends up going down, honestly, I think this team is deep enough and can punch you in the mouth on both sides of the ball, which makes a big difference come playoff time. So I like Indy to go far this year. So give me Shane Steichen.
Mm, okay.
Mm. You got it, Dwayne.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think this is about time where my bias kicks in a little bit here. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna go with a slept on, underrated team right about now. A lot of people don't know. Quietly been making a lot of moves in the off season. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna go with Coach Brian Callahan for the Tennessee Titans coming as Coach of the Year, swooping up on y'all, low key, mainly just because since he has had a top five offense for the past few seasons now, and a lot of people say, hey, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, but sometimes it's also the system, and when you got an offensive coordinator that came over to Tennessee and Nashville, already changed up the game offensively, man, and loaded so many different receivers. A couple of running backs that are definitely going to be explosive and fun to watch. It just seems like I feel like the Titans are really going to sneak up on people this year in ways that people don't understand yet. Both on both sides, actually. But I think this is one of those we had. I believe it was 7 wins last year, so um, it won't even really take a whole lot. I'm not going to go crazy and say it's like a 13-3 or 14, two kind of team or anything like that. But I think they'll be one of those teams that emerge as a surprise pick to where Brian Callahan, man, it's gonna be like the future's bright for the Tennessee Titans, man.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna go with one that I think is gonna be a fun team to watch this year. I'm gonna go with Sean McVay. I think
Okay.
post Aaron Donald, um, that's gonna be one of the biggest storylines coming out of LA. So I think their defensive line is still gonna be able to do some work this year. So I like what they're doing with their roster anyway. So I'm gonna go with McVay on this one.
Okay.
I love it.
I
We
like
wrap
it.
up the Coach of the Year discussion, and now we go to an award that I think the parameters are very wide on this one. We could go a lot of different ways. We've got the Comeback Player of the Year, one of the most fun awards to ponder on. I'm sure if anyone had issues with thinking of who the hell they was gonna pick last round, this is where
Yeah.
shit gets tricky here. So I already planned for that, right? I got my award ready to rock. There's a lot of different ways you can go with this one, and why not go with one of our MVP candidates? I'm gonna go with Kirko Chains coming back off of that Achilles. I think he's going to be looking
Okay.
good with all of that firepower in Atlanta. And
Okay.
don't sleep as well on Matthew Judon and what that means for that team. I think the longer they could stay on the offensive side of the ball, that team is going to be super dangerous. So give me Kirko Chains, our comeback player of the year. Now,
Mm.
it's only right that I throw it right to my guy, Dwayne. Who you got?
Ooh. Man, you had me really pondering and thinking on this one, man. Even now, I'm still kind of like going through the league, like who. I almost wanted to go the route and agree with you on that, man. But for different sake, to make everything different across the table. Uh, you know what, man? What the hey? I'm gonna go with the OG, man. I'm gonna go with Mr. Aaron Rodgers himself and say that he's comeback player of the year because he'll make a difference even with his age. Just showing we saw what the Jets looked like without him, and I think now we finally get to see what this Jets team is made of. I heard you guys last week. I agree. They might necessarily not be that great, but talent speaking, hey, with Aaron Rodgers and what he's worked with in the past, we're gonna see what happens. So let's go ahead and give it to A-Rod one time.
Yeah. Um, I'm gonna have to disagree with you, Chris, because that was who I was gonna choose. So I'm going with Kirk Cousins. I don't care about being different.
Okay.
I think I think if you're looking at him as being one of those MVP candidates this year, and he comes back and is able to come back from that injury and play like we believe he's going to be able to play, yeah, I think that's a lock for sure.
I'll give you guys a dark horse too, since we got a repeat. Nick
Okay.
Chubb, man. I think with the way that roster's
Mm,
built down there in Cleveland, if they are in any position to contend by the time he comes back, and he is, let's say, 6/8, right? What is that? What, 3/4 of the player he
yeah.
used to be? Um, I think he's gonna definitely be in the running for that award, considering obviously how tragic that injury was. Um,
Hmm.
to be able to step on the field at all again, I think would be remarkable. So if he's able to produce at all for that team, I think he'll be in the running as well.
Bro, you know what? I'm glad you just mentioned Chubb. Now you made me want to change my pick, bro. I ain't gonna lie. All due respect to A-Rod, I think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna keep it in that same narrative with Cleveland, but I'm gonna go somewhere else. I'm gonna go with Deshaun Watson. That's gonna be that comeback player of the year because everybody been expecting this man. Everybody been expecting this man to live up to that contract, and at this point, people think he done fell off, and I hope he hasn't.
Yeah.
But look, imagine if he can get back to that Houston level, Deshaun Watson, and prove that it ain't just D Hop that made him look so great all those years. Hey man,
Hey,
that's come
bro.
back to me.
If
Hey,
if if Jameis Winston ends up taking over for him middle of the season,
Ooh.
won't be surprised.
I
Won't be
wouldn't be shocked.
surprised.
I would not be shocked.
But I also gotta say, right,
Mhm.
football wise, I think this is a pick that is slept on because obviously, in my opinion, performance wise, last year was a mirage, right? As far as
Yes.
how bad he looked.
Mhm.
Um, I just gotta say though, there's a lot of people that don't want that man to come back. With that being said, next up, we have
Good
our
point.
offensive player of the year. Holy shit. This is a fun one. There's a lot of different angles we could go. So I need some time to think about this one. So I'm throwing to you, Derek. Who you
Mm.
got as your offensive player of the year?
Offensive player of the year. Um, man, you know what? There's like three running backs that just come to my mind easily. Four. Um, I'm going to give it to Derrick Henry.
I love this. Keep it
Okay.
coming.
Pause.
Derek Henry. No pause. I need all of it. I need all of it. So I'll take
Come
the
on.
mic with that being said.
Come on.
No, it's only right that we take things in another direction because damn, this man went from actually I'm gonna play one more year to hold up. How much does child support cost? Hold on. We gonna be here a couple more years. So give me Tyreek Hill. This man needs to
Mm.
Yeah.
perform for the children. God damn it. Who you
Mhm.
got, Dwayne?
I think you know what? I think my boy Derek gonna like this one because what can I say? Titans fan with a lot of my Titans at heart. So I'm gonna give this one to the wide receiver that needs some love. And I'm gonna give it to my boy AJ Brown one time. I think AJ Brown finna remind some people of some stuff when it comes to this top wide receiver of all time type stuff. You know what I mean? So yeah, give it to my boy AJ Brown one time. Let the boy eat.
Yeah, he's going to have a crazy year this year. I think Philly's offense is just going to be crazy. So he's going to have a good year.
That is music to my ears. It's only right that the Ravens fan gets to pick the defensive player of the year first.
Okay.
And fuck all the shit I was saying about homerism earlier. Give me Roquan Smith, ladies and gentlemen. The
Ooh.
fact that
Mm.
Pat Queen is no longer here, Man, there's just so much versatility that we have across the board on our defense. I could have said Roquan. I wanted to say Kyle Hamilton, but I'm gonna let people keep sleeping on Kyle Hamilton, and I'm gonna say Roquan. I think that the amount of slack that he picks up on the back end of this defense is incredible to watch as a big
Mm-hmm.
as a big Ravens fan. There's the shades of Ray Lewis all over the place, and then
Yeah,
we got a
yeah.
great safety as well in Kyle Hamilton. So couldn't be happier the direction of our defense, despite it on paper being a little lighter this season. I think because of that, his performance is going to stand out even more. So give me Roquan.
Okay. Okay. All right. You want me
Yeah,
to
bro.
take this? Okay. Yeah, man. Since my boy went with a Raven, it's only fitting that your boy goes with a Tennessee Titan one time. You know what I'm saying? I'm finna give it to a guy that's been, you talk about slept on. He's been slept on as an all-time, as like one of the top current defensive ends, man. And he is on a mission this year to get double-digit sacks. And I think with the rookie coming up with him, if that rookie actually lives up to promise, I'm gonna give this thing to my boy Jeffrey Simmons one time. You know what I'm saying? I feel like y'all gonna see this man as a machine on a sack level like never before. Pause just in case, but you know, yeah, man,
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna go with Aiden Hutchinson.
okay,
I
Wow,
I
think
that's a
like
good
that
that
one.
pick.
I think what he did last year was phenomenal, and I think he'll build on that. So I'm gonna just go with him.
Yeah, nothing's better than watching the whitest pass rush in the league, ladies and gentlemen. It is so fun watching those guys go to work
Oh
over
yeah,
there
Yeah.
in Michigan. But it's only right with the packed schedule we've got to look forward to. We don't get no time off. We gotta roll right into these games, baby. And of course, we're starting off with the best game of the week, hands fucking down. If you ask me, this was the real Super Bowl last season. We've got the rematch of the AFC Championship game on Thursday Night Football. Ravens at the Chiefs. We're going to get to see all that amazing highlights, the ring, all of that fun stuff. And then we get to play football, god damn it.
no.
I'm going to throw this one off cuz I can't go first, right? I can't tip my hand of where I'm going. So it's only right. I'm throwing it to the Podfather. Ravens at the Chiefs week 1. Who we got, Derrick?
Oh man, um, this is gonna be a very fun game, and I think you said it's game of the week. I'm gonna agree with you on that one. I think this is gonna be a slugfest. It is a Thursday night game though, so Thursday night games can be unpredictable, um, and also boring, right? Like on paper, this will be great games, but then you watch them and it's a bore fest. So I'm actually going to go with the upset. I'm going to go with Baltimore. Um, I believe that the Chiefs. I don't. I personally, I understand what getting Xavier Worthy means and all that other stuff. I get what this team looks like and all that stuff, right? I still do not think that they are going to be the type of team that a lot of people think they're going to be. And I almost want to say this might be the year we start to see Kelsey slide a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and choose the Ravens for this one. I think that that defense is going to smother that offense. So give me Baltimore. Now, for fantasy purposes, I hope I'm wrong because I got Mahomes and Kelsey. But I'm gonna just go ahead and go with the Ravens on this one.
I love it, Dwayne. How you feeling about Thursday night?
Whew, man. You know, so I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. You may not like this too much because initially I was gonna go this route. But now all of a sudden I saw a certain headline that's making me say, God dang it, here we go again with this. So I hate to say this, and I really hate to say this because you know how I feel about the Chiefs most times, but I gotta pick the Chiefs on this one, man. And it's mainly because that doggone Taylor Swift effect, bro. They say Shawty gonna be at the
Oh my
game, man. And they say Shawty
Oh,
gonna be at the game, and if she gonna be at the game, you already know that's cheap. That's right there. That's L. So I'm like, man, here we go. We got to carry this narrative again throughout this season. So by default, man, I got to go with the Chiefs on this one, but I do think it will be just a hair. It's going to be, I think, a high scoring game for sure, and it's going to give Ravens fans a lot. You never want to start off with an L, but I think you guys are still going to be with your heads high, even with that L, knowing this team going to be one to rock with this season.
Man, I just gotta say right off the top to all these allegations, me and Derrick been doing this show for 3 years. All right, we don't need no contract. All right, there's no contract involved in this relationship. All right, this
Come
is
on.
yes, sir.
going the distance, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
I'm tired of this bullshit. I can't believe they had her 5 times in the fucking hype video. They're showing her more than they're showing the fucking announcing booth. I swear, it's so
Bro.
bad.
Bro.
But it ain't going nowhere, baby. You're so right. It's gonna be the fucking main narrative of this game.
Man.
You hate to see it, but um, even though I'm very high on the Chiefs, man, I think the acquisition of the great Derrick Henry is what makes the difference in this game, man. I think people
Yeah.
sleep on how fucking dumb we made ourselves look that game, and we still should have came out of there with the dub. With
Yeah.
all due respect,
Yeah.
but I think we're not gonna make that same mistake twice. I think we're gonna be dynamic on offense, and I think there's big difference makers right on our offense that I think are finally gonna get unleashed in a bigger way this year. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Rashad Bateman and the things he can do in this
Mm-hmm.
offense. One of the most prolific receivers in the entire league last year of yards of separation between runs route, which is a very important thing to consider whether or not the targets were there. They're going to be there this year. My only fear, and this is where I think people really sleep on the Patrick Mahomes effect, is yes, everyone's talking about Xavier Worthy. The biggest problem in that offense is who they drafted last year, and that's Rashi Rice. Not
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
is this man a threat to society, right? We could start with the GTA vibes, but I think his ability to really learn and start to get the feel of this offense towards the end of last season really showed where this team is headed. And then you add in the other weapons that are going to come into the fold throughout the year. I think early on, we're not going to feel Xavier Worthy's presence, right? But once Hollywood Brown comes back, good fucking luck playing these guys. Like, who wants to play this team? Because not only
Mm-hmm.
are they stellar on defense, obviously, secondary has a lot of questions to be answered, but stellar on defense. And then you have the fucking GOAT. I'll say it right now. My GOAT, right? The best player I've ever seen fucking throw the ball out there. You got him with a reloaded offense, like completely reloaded. Good fucking luck. Travis Kelsey doesn't even have to go out there and get 60 yards. Like, I think this team
Right.
could be a 400-yard a game type team this season, which is real scary. But I like the way we match up, and I think if we could keep the ball on the ground, we should have enough time to win. But holy shit, this feels like a homer pick, right? With all the Chiefs love I'm giving, but give me this. Next up, we move on to our very first, right? This is the first time in history, god damn it. We got a Friday night game to kick off our first week. And of course, we've got Derrick's Eagles going up against the dark horse from last year, the Green Bay Packers. I'll start off this one because I gotta show some love, right? Where it's deserved. Not a lot of people saw the Packers run last season. I will admit, one of my cousins is a huge Green Bay fan, right? And it's the fun thing to dog on him. So if I remember correctly, there was an early game that they lost to Chicago, and all things was looking all kind of strange, right? But
Yeah.
to see the way they finished the season out and the way that they get things done on offense, I think is really impressive to watch when you consider this is a rookie quarterback now in his sophomore year. But aging like a fine wine on the back of that bench behind A-Rod and is ready for the goddamn opportunity. Like, I think people sleep on how good he is, and I think he's a little more sneaky athletic than people see on the tape as well. I think he's a bigger threat in the run game than people give him credit for. Interested to see how this offense looks different with Josh Jacobs. I think that's something to really
Yes.
look forward to because although I think Aaron Jones is a special back, I think what they offer offensively is very different. I hope obviously the coaches need to adapt, right? All things considered, but I'm sure they got that figured out. Now, good fucking luck making it happen week one against this Eagles team. This is gonna be a fucking slugfest. I think this is gonna be another really fun game and in the contention for game of the week. Now, only one team can win, and I still believe firmly that this Eagles defense should be the better of the two, which makes me lean with the Eagles. But damn, this is really closer than I'd like to admit. With all that being said, it's only right we hold out for the Podfather. So, Dwayne, who you got in
Okay.
this showdown in Brazil?
Woo. Let's give it up for Friday night football for the first time, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be interesting, especially in Brazil, of all places. Like, all right, I see you, NFL. Um, I'm going. It's funny we just gave Jordan Love some love. I'm gonna give him some more love because I didn't get a chance to really hop on with you guys last year. I was one of those people that was on a Jordan Love crave, man. I was telling people, hey, do not sleep on this man. He's been sitting behind Aaron Rodgers, just like Aaron Rodgers was sitting behind Brett Favre, and I knew it was gonna have that same effect. Where I knew this man, I was like, man, he gonna be ready, and he finna be this guy. He finna be that guy for real. And so far, he has proven me completely correct. I know he had some rocky starts, but then it clicked, and I think that momentum is gonna carry. One thing we know about the NFL, when you start late and you really start picking up your momentum late, it carries off into that next season, and it's like a come out party. So for me, man, this is an exciting offense. Jordan Love is actually my runner up for my pick on MVP because I think he's going to take that next leap like that. So let's definitely do it. And let's say, all due respect to the Eagles, I know I just put on A.J. Brown as my offensive player of the year. I do think the Eagles got a lot to reprove in terms of reminding people who the heck we are. But much like Chris said, when you're young like that, they got something to prove too. Because I know they looking at the Eagles like, hey, this is the perfect test for us to show y'all that we the young bucks up next. So, in a very very close thriller, I'm gonna get an edge by a field goal to the Green Bay Packers. And yet another case, like I said, with Chris's Ravens, Derrick, your Eagles will still be held up high, knowing that they are a force and the force in the NFC, not to be reckoned with. They just ran into one of those teams that's got something to prove in their own right.
I think I'm going to shock you guys with this one. Um, no, I'm not. I'm picking the Eagles. I think
Nice
I think
bait,
one of
bro.
the things that thank you. I think one of the things that is going to be shown in this game is how different that offense is going to look. Like we're actually going to have motion, right? And I think that that's one of the things that I've been looking forward to the most with adding Kellen Moore to this team. I think that that's going to provide a lot of options for them. Um, and I think Jalen Hurts is going to look every bit of the part. I think that defense is going to show up. Devin White is out. He didn't even travel to Brazil. So we're not even at full strength. And I believe that they're gonna do it. The only question I have is a secondary right now. Um, just because I just I feel like Darius Slay is still capable, but he showed a lot of signs of aging last year. It wasn't just the slip. I there were a lot of times where it was just like, bro, what are you doing? So I'm very interested to see how Vic Fangio's scheme plays out this year. I think that they're going to do a phenomenal job. So I have no questions that they're going to be able to show up and show out this year, but also this game. I think they're the ones that have something to prove. I think when you've been listening to people for the better part of a year, clown your team and doubt what your capabilities are, say that what you have accomplished was a fluke. Uh, I think they have a chip on their shoulder that's gonna be shown, and of course, we're gonna hear about this all year long, honestly, because of the 10-1 start last year. So it wouldn't even matter if this team went on a whole streak. It's gonna come down to the playoffs for them. So yeah, give me the Eagles with this one, and I think they're gonna win decisively.
Okay.
Whew, I
All right.
love it. I love the picks. Looking forward to seeing how the Brazil crowd reacts as well. I think
Oh,
sometimes we see
nice.
these foreign nations, they really get behind one team. But I'm
Yeah,
interested to see if the fan base is like educated, right? It is interested in the game because I think it's going to be a pretty close one. And hey, who
yeah,
knows? Maybe next time they go out there to Brazil, we could all go out there and I could be the host, because
bro.
Hey,
nos
come
falamos
on,
português. We could,
come
you know what I'm
on.
Eh,
saying? We
I
gonna
see
figure it
you.
out.
I
But
see you,
with
hey,
all
dog.
that, go
Come
ahead,
no
on.
Derek.
joke. They should not be going to Brazil.
No, no, stop it, stop
This
it.
is
It's not that
no,
bad. Stop it,
no,
stop
no,
it.
no. Based on what they're telling the teams, like it to me, it's like, why are you sending these teams to this place?
Bro, Mexico's
If
worse. We're gonna be
I
fine.
personally
Mexico's
look, I
worse.
know UFC goes down there all the time. I understand, it's not an issue, but why are you sending your players down there if there is a specific issue going on right now? That's my
Mm,
only question about it.
Good point.
That's my only
fair,
question.
fair, but trust me, they're gonna have way more security than even the UFC can muster up. And honestly, I don't
Yeah.
remember any incidents happening on that
Nah.
side of the front. But there's
Yeah.
always risk, right? No matter when
Yeah.
you go into any of these foreign countries for stuff like that to happen. So everybody
Yeah.
be smart, right? Don't be a walking lick. But with that being said, we move on to our Sunday games, right? Our Sunday 1 o'clock slate. And of course, the first game listed, we've got the Panthers at the Saints. So we get to take, remember how early I said we don't really get time off? This is going to be our
Mm.
time off game. No, no, no,
Yeah.
no, no. We don't do that here. We don't do that here. God damn it. We're always ready to give all these teams the respect they deserve. I'm going to go first on this one too, and then I'm going to be quiet, right, for the next couple ones. Um, I think both of these teams deserve a lot of respect. And I think obviously two teams that are towards the bottom of the league, all things considered, they're probably not going to get looks in that direction. But I think there's a lot of good moves that this Panthers team made, specifically on the offensive side of the ball. Dave Canales being their new coach there from that Pete Carroll tree. I think he's working with a lot of good pieces, right, to put together a good offense. I think it sucks, obviously, that Jared Brooks is out early. After, look, I'm going to go on a quick rant here because after I became such a big dynasty fantasy football guy, right?
Mm.
Um, I really started to look into these rookies, and I think people sleep on how good of a prospect Jonathan Brooks is. Obviously, he's coming off of an ACL injury, which you hate to see for any running back, right? But this guy is the one. If I'm not mistaken, the youngest RB in the entire class. Um, he's coming off of an injury, so it's going to take time for him to get into this offense. But similar to that Nick Chubb situation, I really think this guy's a difference maker and deserves to be the best and the first running back picked in last year's rookie class. Big fan of what he can accomplish out there. So looking forward to him coming back. But without even that being considered, we got Deontay Johnson added to the mix, one of the most prolific separators in the league. We talked about that earlier. I'm a big fan of what he was able to do for Pittsburgh. And now imagine that role with their young quarterback Bryce Young. I'm sorry, I forgot your name last week. I'm not gonna lie. All right, but we making up for it this week. God damn it. I think this team deserves a lot of respect. Obviously, right now their starting running back is going to be Chuba Hubbard, even though Miles Sanders, the corpse of Miles Sanders, still lives on that team. By the way, one of the best takes you've ever had on this show, and I should have trusted you last year when you were like, "Hold on, Miles Sanders is your dark horse." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, Miles Sanders." No, no. But I think all things considered, on offense, they're going to be a new look team. I think on defense, they still have a lot of questions to be answered. but they're not going to have to worry about that too much, right? In this matchup, I think the Saints, I think it's time to move on, with all due respect, from Dennis Allen, the head coach, but also from Derek Carr. I think they have his replacement on the bench, and I think it's a matter of time. I think they're ultimately going to let it play out, right, as you do with these veterans. But this feels like a team in transition. And I
Mm.
think it's easy to say that about both of these teams. I just like the upside of the Carolina Panthers a little bit more at this current moment. So I'm going to go with the road team. Give me Carolina. Whoever wants to jump in, you got the leash because ain't no way y'all going to be talking that long. God damn it.
Man, I think I'll go ahead and roll in this one, man, because I was thinking as Chris was talking, and I was about to actually go the opposite way with you, man, but you might have convinced me a little bit here because if it's anybody that knows all about a transitional team and a transition, it would be this guy right here because that was us very much last year in that same similar transition where you knew it was time to move on from some pieces. And as you can see, we pretty much did completely that. New regime, new everything, all this year and this off season, and it's like a fresh start. So with the Saints, it feels like it's that same kind of way. I mean, I know people were super. I guess if you're a Derrick Carr fan, you were hyped. If you're a Saints fan, I know some Saints fans at the job. And they Saints fans, so they're gonna root regardless. You know what I mean? It's always who that for them. So they kind of have this delusion of Super Bowl every year because they say it's in New Orleans this year. You can't have New Orleans without a New Orleans Saints in the Super Bowl. But I'm like, yeah, that's not happening, bro. It's not. So like at the end of the day, I think this is one of those cases where, like you said, they do have a young prospect on the bench, and I think it's not a matter of if but when he starts. It's going to be like a refreshing moment for that team, and they'll understand like, okay, we got our future right here, and so give me the Young Bucks to actually surprise this one out, and I'm rooting for the Bryce Young comeback, man. He got left in the dust by our boy C.J. Stroud a little bit, so I'm looking forward to seeing if he takes that leap this year and improves that much more from last year.
Yeah, give me the Panthers. There's just nothing that I can say about the Saints that makes me actually want to choose them to win almost any game this year. Give me the Panthers.
Man, wow, that's crazy.
Honestly, though, I wouldn't be surprised. Hear me out here. I wouldn't be surprised if the defense for the Saints ends up carrying them a little more than we give credit
Oh, for
for.
sure, for
Um,
Um,
sure.
Defensively, they have a lot of great pieces and obviously a lot of great vets to put them over the hump. But yeah, man, it's looking bleak because at the end of
Yeah,
the day, you got to be able to score too.
yeah,
yeah.
And Alvin Kamara is good, but he ain't, you know, early
He ain't
rounds good.
Jesus.
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Especially at this stage of his career.
yeah.
So
He aging
Yeah.
now. It's about
I
that
love it
time.
though. All Panthers across the board. Next up, we've got another mid-off. Who would have thought in this 1 p.m. window? We've got the Vikings at the Giants, the Sam Darnold led Vikings. Derek, why don't you lead the dance on this one? Who you got?
Man, I'm going Minnesota, bro. I think Sam Darnold can do enough to pick this defense apart.
Wow.
I really do not have any hope in the Giants this year either. I there's nothing about them that remarkably, I mean, that remotely makes me want to even say anything nice about them in terms of being able to win many games this year. I really do believe that they need a change in that front office because how you let Saquon Barkley go out and you're rocking with Devin Singletary, that's your number one. With that line, nah, bruh. If Barkley
Hmm.
struggled at times last year with that line, and he was great last year, but he struggled at times because of that line. Singletary, I don't know how long he's gonna last. I really don't. I really don't. And they chose Daniel Jones over Barkley. That was dumb as hell. The Giants aren't doing anything this year. I'm going with Minnesota. I think Sam Darnold will be able to do enough to carry them. It's gonna, like you said, it's a mid off. That's going to be a low scoring game. But yeah, who's really going to be watching that
Perk
outside of Sam
30.
Darnold's panels?
Perk 30. Danny Dimes. Did you guys see that interview at the start of training camp? This
Yeah.
motherfucker is wired, bro. I don't know if it's the,
Yeah.
the, the pre workout. I don't know what it is, but holy
Yeah.
shit. That guy looks fucking locked in, baby. Dwayne,
Yeah.
who you got?
You know what, man? Off top, here's the funny thing about week 1, week 2, and maybe even week 3. There are always those fool you kind of weeks because a lot of teams are still kind of working out their kinks. Some get a little slept on, some think they're doing something, and then the reality kicks in, and then it's like, oh, there you are. I think this is one of those cases where that's going to be the Giants. You know, if it's one thing I learned from facing them 2 years ago, they got lucky enough to beat us, and sometimes it's not a matter of like, you know, did we lose or did they win kind of thing. Sometimes it's just one of those weird first couple of week kind of scenarios. So I'm actually going with the Giants on this one. Not that they're going to look impressive or anything. I do think Malik Neighbors will show some promise, of course, for
Yeah.
whatever he's got with Daniel Jones. I think it'll be like a showcase for him for sure. That's about all I got as far as their offense goes. Is just I'm interested to see how he does because he's got a lot of hype around him on that wide receiver core. And yeah, I mean with the Vikings, it's not me sleeping. I just don't trust Sam Darnold. Period. Never did. It's Sam Darnold, bro. Yeah. Give me the Giants on that one.
Whew. It's a tough one to have the tiebreaker, if I'm being honest, because once again, these mid teams, right? It's harder to
Yeah.
pick. I think the Brian Burns acquisition is what makes me lean towards the Giants here too. I think obviously losing Daniil Hunter is a huge blow, um, and defensively, I think they're going to be able to put a little bit more pressure on the Vikings. And Sam Darnold's so fucking bad, bro. Like it's way worse than anything that Danny Dimes has actually shown, even though I still don't like him either as a quarterback. Um, it's a tough one for sure. I think obvious we could look real stupid, Dwayne, and come next week, the Vikings just blew them out. But
True.
with the injury between Hawkinson as well as the talk with Jordan Addison, there's a lot of danger there. So I'll
I
go
agree.
with the Giants in Jersey, right? The New Jersey Giants,
Come
week
on.
1 will make that happen, and I'll break the tie.
All
But
right.
that's enough, god damn it. Next up, we've got the Patriots at the Bengals. Dwayne, I'll throw it to you first. I'll let you lead the dance on this one. Who you
Hmm.
got? This one isn't a mid off, but one of them is really fucking mid.
Yeah, one of them is. One of them. You are not lying, my brother, and it's because of that reason. I'm gonna be honest. Like, if they would have pulled the trigger, that very mid team you're speaking of, if they would have pulled the trigger, and I understand why they're waiting. You know, they understand we ain't got the best line, we ain't got the best team, we ain't got plans to go nowhere yet. But I am interested in this team still because of their new coach, and I do want to see what he's able to do. He's someone I also almost wanted to pick. He's my runner-up for Coach of the Year, more so on an improvement kind of basis. You know, if he can get more wins than most people predict for this team, I think that kind of puts him in the Coach of the Year conversation at least. Um, but again, here's the funny thing about Week 1 and 2: it's a very tricky thing sometimes. So the Bengals got some drama of their own going on right about now. And, you know, well, let's not act like Cincinnati ain't the cheapest organization in the world. And we know how they get sometimes when it comes to paying people. You know, and I overheard you guys kind of debating about that last week. And I said to myself, yeah, I think that's one of them teams everybody's expecting to do great. And they might actually take some steps back. Not even just saying that because we got their offensive coordinator as our head coach. I'm also saying that because I'm still not convinced. Ever since that fluke year they got to the Super Bowl, and I still stand by it. Yes, I say it. I'm gonna sit there and say they edged this one out probably by default because of the fact that nobody really expects much out of this Patriots team. But if they lose, I'm gonna take one of Derrick's numbers here. If they lose this game, I would not be surprised.
The Derrick isms are coming
Yes, sir.
early and
Yes,
often. You love to
yes,
hear it.
sir.
Holy shit, that was great. I'll take the baton here. I
Okay.
think obviously we're all going with the Bengals, but I will say in that same vein, right? I see the vision, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to the Packers. I see the vision, right? We got Drake May
Mm-hmm.
chilling. He
Mm-hmm.
don't got to do much this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we were in the NBA, we will be planting the flag for Cooper Flag. These guys are trying to get a bad pick, right? They're trying
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
to be at
Yes.
the bottom. Um, I think their secondary isn't going to be bad. I'm a big fan of Christian Gonzalez and him coming
Yeah.
back this year. Interested to see how he looks on that side of the ball. But when I talk about seeing the vision, people sleep on the Patriots being about four deep at wide receiver right now. Like I won't be surprised if this team actually puts up a lot more points than people expect, even with Jacoby Brissett at the helm. I think offensively they're putting some pieces together, right? I don't expect them to fully gel this year, but I actually really do like the long-term vision. But that doesn't mean shit here week one. I think even if Jamar Chase isn't playing, they win by 2 touchdowns. So give me the Bengals.
Yes. I'm obviously going with the Bengals, but I do believe that Christian Gonzalez is going to pose a problem for Burrow. Only thing about that defense, though, if you remember last year, um, they that defense was looking really nice until they lost Gonzalez and Judon. Now that Judon is no longer there, I do believe that they're going to take they're going to take some steps back. However, Gonzalez is going to be out there. He's going to make his presence known. So I almost want to say this is not going to be as much of a blowout as people might think. I want to say this might be a little bit closer, just because I think Gonzalez is going to have some fun out there. So give me the Bengals,
All
but
right.
I do think it's going to be a very interesting game.
Before we move on, I just gotta ask. We'll get through this quick, but
Mm-hmm.
what do you guys think about the haul that the Patriots got for Matthew Judon? Because holy shit, they got to start calling these NBA organizations and figuring out how to get some better assets. Because a fucking third
Yeah,
rounder, that's all you can figure out for one of the
yeah.
best players in the fucking league. Like holy shit.
They just wanted him out of their facility. That's all that tells me. They just wanted him gone.
Yeah.
He looked like he was becoming a headache to them anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Throughout the off season and with training camp. Um, I think that was pretty much what that was. They just did not want him there, and they were going to take whatever they could get for him.
Mm.
Fucking nuts. Dwayne, any
I,
thoughts?
yeah, I gotta agree with Derek. Just wanted to get him out the door. Sometimes it's an age thing too. I've heard people mention other analysts on other sports shows mention like he's up there in age a little bit, even though he's still got juice left in the tank in more ways than one. Which is why if you're an Atlanta fan, you got to be incredibly excited for defense this season because that piece is definitely going to amp you up even more with a Grady Jarrett. Oh my gosh, I just can't wait to even
Hmm.
see how that defense looks, man. But uh, yeah, I guess honestly, you can see they're in a rebuild. So when you're in a rebuild, you don't care what you give away. You're just like, hey, look. And we know the Patriots don't always get the top picks to build what they build anyway. That Patriot way is still kind of in there, even with Belichick gone. It looks like so. We'll see, man.
Great shout, great shout. Next up, we move on to some real interesting teams considering who we were just fucking talking about. Steelers at the Falcons, baby.
Here we
Week
go.
one, big things, big drama show. Holy shit.
Oh.
And let's go. I got to throw this in there. Pittsburgh country. Let's steal. Watch for that corny shit coming your way soon, Pittsburgh.
Oh. Yep.
This is a tough one for me, man. This is a real tough matchup. Because
Is
both of
it?
these teams, yeah, honestly, yeah. I think both of these teams are in a position to obviously exercise some demons, right? And try to
Hmm.
take a big step forward this year. Obviously, the team that's at home has a lot more new pieces that need to gel together. But both teams with a new guy at the helm, we got a lot of questions to be answered.
Mm.
This feels like a trap game, right? This feels like a holy shit. We feeling good in Atlanta. This is gonna be a great time. But you're facing one of the best defenses in the league, and your quarterback is coming off of an Achilles. So we got problems, ladies and gentlemen, especially if Kyle Pitts is not playing. Obviously, as of right now, he still is going to be playing, but we'll see how that story develops. I went back and forth on this one. I think everyone's in on the Falcons. I think I am too, but I'm going to go with the Steelers here to upset in week 1. I just think there's too much to overcome too fast for both of these teams. And in a week 1 matchup like that, you got to lean defense. So give me the steel curtain, baby. Who you
Hmm.
got, Derrick?
I'm going to Falcons, bro. I
Wow.
I'm be honest. I don't know. I don't know what the Steelers are gonna be able to really do.
Really?
Um, yeah, I know preseason and stuff like that. Russell Wilson just hasn't been spectacular in a while, and I really think he has to be against this defense, even though they're newly formed, right? I really think that he's gonna have a tough day with that defense. So I'm gonna go with Atlanta on this one. I really, like I said last week, I don't think that Atlanta can be slept on, and I don't think they can be laughed at anymore. I think that they're not even like what they're really gonna be when they're really on that level. And I think that this is gonna be a team that's gonna be fun to watch grow. So you're at home. You've got to feel it. You got to be able to go out there and do it. I don't see how they mess this up. And now, if they mess this up, bruh, that would
I
be
think
so
you'll be
Atlanta.
surprised.
I'd be surprised.
Hmm.
That would be so Atlanta. But
Okay.
I'm gonna go with them on this one. I think the Falcons will get this.
Okay.
Yeah, the
So
equalizer, Dwayne.
the equalizer, the tiebreaker. I love being in this position, baby. It's always a fun one. But after listening to both of y'all's cases, I ain't gonna lie. First off, I agree with you, Chris. This is exactly that. It is very much a trap game for a couple of reasons here. Number one, let's talk about staffing. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Atlanta Falcons had a certain head coach on last year that they couldn't wait to get a boot and kick out the building with good reasoning, of course. And that same coach landed himself right on this very team that they're going against in week 1. Now, what did I tell you,
Yep.
gentlemen, earlier? Funny thing about the NFL, those first couple of weeks are always tricky and always something. The teams you expect to win don't usually do win because there's always that little fluke that pops up. Well, this is one of those flukes that I feel is about to pop up. Not going to do any justice against Atlanta. I do agree with you, Derek. Atlanta is one of those teams this year that is not going to be slept on. I really think. I mean, when you start getting ESPN's attention out of nowhere, that means you must have made some moves for real, for real. Also, Raheem Morris, man, I'm excited to see him shine as his second time as a head coach. He was so young the first time in Tampa Bay. Now I think he really gets a chance now that he's matured and grown. And I cannot wait to see what the defense looks like and the offense. But I do think this will be a very low scoring game because Raheem is definitely a defensive first kind of guy. And I know this defense is so stacked. He's going to have that defense looking elite to a point where, yeah, I got a question for y'all after I make this pick because Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson got my attention this year in terms of I want y'all to answer this afterwards. Who is the more exposed quarterback of these two since leaving their respective teams that they shine the most in? But that being said, I'm gonna go with the Pittsburgh Steelers only because we know Arthur Smith is very great when it comes to running the ball. Najee Harris has a point to prove, and I think he's gonna actually shine in some cases. So I don't think this will be a Russell Wilson situation, But I do think one thing about Russell, he still has ability with his legs a little bit. He can spread the floor a little bit. Still questionable, but he can still run. And at the end of the day, I think the run game is what's going to cause the Steelers to not necessarily excite you with touchdowns all galore, but at least put the field in positive direction enough to get the field goals. And this is just going to be one of those situations where it's a showcase for Atlanta. Atlanta fans are still going to be excited even in defeat.
I feel that. I this is you giving me the hard fucking questions here. God damn it. I think situationally, I liked where Russell Wilson is landing just because a lot of what went well in Denver. They have very similar pieces here in Pittsburgh, in my opinion. I think the Greg Dulcich replacement in Pat Fryermuth is an upgrade, right? George Pickens over Cortland Sutton is an upgrade. I think
Mhm.
in general, he didn't look as bad as people made him out to look last year, in my opinion. I just think that team sucks. And that's why there was a lot of issues on that side of the ball. I think there has been a clear regression, though, in one Russell Wilson. But
Yeah.
I've it's very rare that you see a regression like Deshaun Watson had last year, and it's not semi-permanent. Like I'm a lot more worried at this stage, which is kind of crazy to think about Deshaun Watson than I am about Russell Wilson, especially with that defense. Obviously, both these teams have very special defenses. You could argue, God damn it, Deshaun Watson has way better weapons, but right now I'm going Russell Wilson.
Good one. Derrick, you want to throw your take in that real quick before we move on?
Uh, I'm gonna say Russell Wilson would be the better one. I I I
Okay.
I, I don't know. I don't know. And honestly, I don't think it's gonna be like better in terms of like, yeah, no, that man is what you expect him to be. I don't know. Deshaun Watson. I'm so Philly, bro. Deshaun Watson that was such a weird thing last year, and I think I don't know that that was a fluke. I don't know that that was just a one off. So give me Russell Wilson to be the better one this year.
Okay. All right. Oh, we lost you, Chris.
Nah, he's just
Oh,
muted.
I'm sorry
There
about
we go.
that. Look at that. Just unprofessional over here. Uh,
You're
next
good.
up, we're still in that 1 o'clock window. We've got the Texans going up against the Colts on the road. This is a really fun, sneaky contender for game of the week. I think this is awesome to see these new look, new age, right? Offenses come up against each other. Really excited to see the complexion of this one. But I'm going to throw to Derrick first. How do you feel about, first of all, the juggernaut that is supposed to be the Houston Texans this season, and then
Hmm.
their week 1 matchup against the Colts on the road?
Oh, I actually think that I love both these teams to be honest. But I think the Texans are going to build on what they did last year. Obviously, getting Diggs I think just helps even more, which I don't know that they really needed that, but like, who's gonna say no? You know what I'm saying? So give me the Texans as like one of my favorite teams this year as well to watch. But I'm definitely picking them in this game. I think that they can, they can go into the enemy sort of territory and do what they need to do.
Okay.
Who you got, Dwayne?
All right. So for the which team do I hate on less bowl? Shout out to both of these teams for real. Honestly, I'm excited for this one because I'm excited for the entire AFC South, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna call it right now. This will be the division of the year. Believe me when I say this. All of these teams have made improvements, and all of them are going to look very decisively well. Even regardless of record, you guys are going to be like, "Holy crap! This division is the division of the future right now." But that being said, between these two, It's easy. I'm going Colts, man.
Wow.
AR
Mm,
is, I believe, either 2-1 or completely undefeated against CJ Stroud, but he has bested CJ Stroud in their head-to-head matchup so far. Therefore, technically speaking, even though CJ Stroud is more polished now with the playoff experience added versus AR, who hasn't really had a chance to fully shine in a full season because of the injury, I still feel like he's just got a certain factor about him that will, sometimes there's matchups that you best yourself in. So I think this is one that AR is going to definitely show like, hey, I'm that guy when it comes to me and you. So there we go.
Whew. I love being the tiebreaker here because I takes a little bit of the pressure off, right? I don't got to worry about being outnumbered. Um, this one was tough. I went back and forth. I think if this was the same Texans team as last season, I think I would go with the Colts at home. But people sleep on not only Stephon Diggs, but God damn it, the addition of Joe Mixon, right? And what they was able to do last year with Devin Singletary. I think he
yeah.
is nowhere near past his prime as people make him out to be. So excited to see how he looks in that backfield. I think he gives him the edge. So I'm going to go with the Texans breaking the tie on the road. Next up, we've got the Cardinals going up against the new look Buffalo Bills. This is a fun one to pick. I'll
Hmm.
start the dance with this one because I'm greedy, right? I just
Uh-oh.
I need it all. I need all these narratives to chew on. This is a huge year for both of these quarterbacks in a lot of different directions, right? I think Kyler Murray coinciding with a new Call of Duty, right? We got problems, right? Off rip, we got problems. But in all reality, all jokes aside, I think this offense should really take a step forward this year. Obviously, when you draft a big name wide receiver, and he has a big name, god damn it, I think you're looking towards things going on the better side, and obviously Trey McBride is a fantastic tight end and someone to not overlook on that side of the ball as well. I think this team it really comes down to defensively where they lie, and I
Hmm.
think they're going to be big performers on the offensive side of the ball, but can they keep the ball? And that's going to be the question. I like Bills offense this year, not because it's going to be high powered. I think it's going to be fucking consistent. And I think this is the year where we say, let's commit to making sure that Josh Allen does not become Cam Newton. Let's force this guy to not run. He can't do this anymore. Let's draft a fucking awesome RB2 and Ray Davis, which I think makes this team a sneaky almost similar to the Titans backfield where you have two 1A, 1B options that you could really go to. I love their two tight end sets. Why not fucking fill the box and run the ball? I think this team is really capable of doing that. And in this matchup, styles make fights. I think the Cardinals are going to really do a lot of damage to a lot of teams. But I think this week the Bills win it at home.
Hmm.
Who you
Okay.
got, Dwayne?
Woo, man. I'm excited for this one too, man. This is gonna be crazy. And you know what? I'm gonna throw this out there. I think this is where Kyler Murray puts it down. I think he puts down the Call of Duty, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's over with. I think he's locked in for real, for real. Uh, he was actually an honorable mention as well for Comeback Player of the Year. I ain't gonna lie to you because I think he's got some stuff to prove. He's got weapons now again, and I think this is the prove you are him game for Mr. Marvin Harrison Jr., ladies and gentlemen. I think it's time for Marvin Harrison to show y'all and remind y'all why he didn't do a combine and remind y'all why he said he is that guy. So I think this is where we are going to see an electrifying connection between Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison Jr., amongst the other weapons added to this team. But I do think this is going to be arguably your game of the week. And give me the Cardinals, straight up.
I'm going with the Bills. I mean, you're at home. I think that the only question I have about this team is why did you not draft Xavier Worthy? That's my only question I have about this team right now. I understand pretty much every other move they made, but that was the only one I'm just like, don't get it. So I think they do have a lot to prove. And Chris, I hope you're right that they do try and make sure that Allen does not run as much this year. Um, so give me the Bills. I think we're looking at this team. We said last week, Josh Allen's got a lot to prove this year. To me, he's got a little more to prove than Kyler Murray. To be completely honest with you. So yeah, give me the Bills. Give me the Bills. I want to see what they're gonna be able to do.
I love it. Next up, it's only right. I'm throwing to Derrick early and often because we know who's going last in this one. We got the Titans on the road in Chicago
Yes,
going up
sir.
against those Bears.
Mm.
Yes,
Derrick,
sir.
who you got?
Uh Honestly, I'm gonna go with the Bears in this one. I do believe that it's more than Caleb Williams to me. They have DeAndre Swift there, right? And I think that's going to be a huge addition to that offense. We're also getting Keenan Allen. I think um, he's got a heel injury, so I'm not sure if he's going to play this game or not. But I do believe that they're going to be a formidable team. The only thing that sucks is that you had that expectation as a number one pick to like hit the ground running right now, right? So I like that's the only thing I hate about that for this team. But I do believe that they're going to be able to come out and showcase a lot of great stuff. I do. I think the Titans are gonna play well as well. I'm just gonna lean toward the Bears on this one because they are at home, and I think when you have that much to prove, even though it's not like we're looking at the Bears to go to the Super Bowl right now, I think they have that feeling in that locker room that we got to prove something. So I'm gonna go with the Bears on this one.
Damn, I love it. I'm gonna shock some with this because um, I'm high on the fucking Titans. God damn it! I think Tajay Spears is really slept on and might eventually find himself as being the lead back in this
Yeah.
situation, right? Whatever we're gonna call this, because I don't think any of these guys are gonna really be the true favorite every week to have the most carries. I feel like it could go either way with this offense, and either of these guys could catch passes out the backfield too. Will Levis is a very interesting experiment, right? This
Yeah.
man drinks mayo in his coffee. This man has a mayo cologne that I learned about,
Yeah.
which I can't even understand. Like, as those words come out of my mouth, I can't even imagine what that smells like or why you would want that on yourself. But fuck, man, this guy can air the ball out. And when you retool the offense the way they did, I really like their offensive weapons, and I think Calvin really needs to show that he is that guy because we
Yeah.
know that DeAndre Hopkins is going to be who he is, but how long can we guarantee that, right? Calvin
Mhm.
really needs to show that he's still an alpha in this offense for it to do well because I think D Hop's going to get his no matter what. It's really about what Ridley can do in that second level when you have the second best cornerback
Mhm.
on you.
Mhm.
He's going to be the difference maker. So I'm looking at him, and I didn't even talk about what they've done on the defensive side of the ball, right? Signing one of the best covers
Right.
in the whole fucking league. But I love this matchup, man, because the Bears are awesome. I think the Bears, this is the best situation by far I can remember in my fandom.
Mm.
Quarterback finding themselves in as a rookie. I think this team should have been nowhere near the first round pick, and I love what they did to the fucking Panthers, being able to fleece them in a lot more ways than people recognize. Like, please, I encourage you all to look back at all the assets actually that the Panthers have lost, period, and
Yes.
see what
Yes.
those transactions look like. But
Nice.
I think it's pretty simple here. This is a really tough matchup for any rookie quarterback, but this rookie's special. Give me the fucking Bears at home, ladies and gentlemen.
That
I see what you did there. I see
was
what you
good.
did there. You know, man, listen, this is a very, very interesting yet very exciting week one matchup. And you know what, man, when I look at this, I'm gonna shock you guys real heavily, man. This is crazy. Caleb Williams, man. I'm hearing people call him Pat Mahomes Jr. out there. You know what I'm saying? And I really look back and I say, he's got some good weapons there. This is a really nice team. And when you're at home, you're gonna have a crowd on fire because they're ready to see the rookie do his thing. And one thing about the setup, it's very much a lot like this pick. When I tell you one thing about the setup, it's dramatic. It rises and it falls dramatically, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, I'm picking the Tennessee Titans. You know what I mean? What do you think I was gonna do? Why would I wear a jersey and pick against my squad, people? No, this is the Will Levis come out party. I think this is the guy that is about to. I mean, in a sense, this is a rookie pretty much. I mean, he came in at the tail end of the season, really at a time where, like I said, we were transitioning, and it was pretty much done. You know what I'm saying? So he really just was like a showcase, if anything, but he didn't really truly get to fully. He's got the keys fully now. So in a way, Will Levis is a rookie, and so it's like a rookie versus a rookie. Just this rookie has a little bit of experience versus Caleb Williams, but that's not to say that Caleb Williams won't shine this year. I think he will be Rookie of the Year for sure. It's a toss up between him and Jaden Daniels, maybe even Marvin Harrison Jr. But give me the Tennessee Titans because, like you said, Chris, the defense, man. We made a lot of defensive acquisition moves. We got a young rookie in Sweat that I'm looking forward to seeing how he does on the field with Jeffrey Simmons, who I mentioned is my Defensive Player of the Year pick this year. On top of just, I don't think this is the same old Titans. Rand Carthon has really molded this team into something unique. It's different. He's an analytics guy, so we're finally playing keep up with the rest of the league, and we're not that smash heavy run team that we used to be. So for that and that alone, I think this is the year we're about to surprise a lot of people. Nobody is going to see us coming, and I love it when you come best when nobody expects it. So I can't wait.
Oh!
That's that.
Shit, Dwayne. God damn. Can I get a pause on that? Fuck.
What happened? Whoa. What happened?
Holy.
What
That
happened,
was
bro?
crazy. You know we like coming, and when you don't know when we coming, I'm like, God
He
damn.
set me up. Hey, bro, it's cool. Y'all got me on that. But now, for real talk, y'all. Understand, man. This is the Will Levis come out party. Pause, because you just got me. I'm not doing that again. But y'all watch out, man. Just watch out. I'm not gonna sit there and just say we lighting the world on fire to get to the Super Bowl. Nope. There's still another level we gotta hit. But just understand, a lot of eyes will be watching us after this very season, going forward to the next few off seasons to see what else we add to this. So get ready, y'all. Revisit me. I'll come back on here probably week 5, week 6, because if I'm wrong about Will Levis, he's pretty much to make a break on how this team and organization moves forward going forward. So if he is not that guy that I'm thinking he's going to be, I'll eat my words come week 5, week 6, y'all. So stay tuned.
Make sure y'all pick up Will Levis in fantasy if he's out there. I think there's a real chance he might have like 35 touchdowns and like 25 picks. Let's go. Next up,
Let's
we've
go.
got a sneaky good 1 p.m. window game to close out the slate.
Okay.
Got the Jaguars on the road going up against the Dolphins. Now, I'm going to be honest here. We're humans just like all of you. So I just got to be transparent. As of right now, we got drafts to worry about, okay? We got to get in our fantasy drafts before the season starts, god damn it.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you notice any diversions in our focus, just know we're making some fucking picks here. So please
Yeah.
feel free if you make your pick to announce what your pick was. That'd be
Come
cool,
on
right? A
now.
little
Oh
fun
yeah,
added
yeah, yeah. We
added
can do
part of the
that.
show. Why not?
Let's
Yeah,
go.
Um,
yeah.
Let's
I think
go.
it's only right though that we throw straight to Derrick for this awesome game. Jaguars at the Dolphins. How you feeling?
Oh, you know what's funny about this? I have high hopes for the Jaguars this year. I think they're going to actually be a lot better than last year, but I'm actually going to have to go ahead and choose the Dolphins on this one. I think that you're at home. Um, I think it's going to be a very interesting game, but I'm going to go with the Dolphins on this one. I think they're gonna do it. They're gonna do it. And wow, Dwayne just wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, with the first pick of the draft, your
God
boy
dang,
has
bro.
selected wide receiver, the cheetah himself, Tyreek Hill. Perfect transition.
Ooh, I didn't even know we had the first pick. God damn
Me
it.
either, but
That's
I'll
a good
take it.
pick.
Let's
He
go,
had the
baby.
second pick. I had the third. I was
Second.
going to
Oh.
get him.
Ooh, look at that. Just fucking hey, you're the first pick that matters, Dwayne. How about that? You're the
Let's
first pick
go.
that matters.
First pick that matters. Let's get it, man.
All right.
God
So with
dang,
that
bro.
being said, Dwayne, who you got?
Well, obviously, ladies and gentlemen, since I literally just picked
God
Tyreek
dang.
Hill and the Dolphins in this Florida Bowl, it's only right for fantasy purposes that I'm gonna go with the Miami Dolphins, a team that we know. The pun and the joke on them is, hey, they're great when it's warm weather. Until it gets to December and October, and they got to go up there and up north where it's cold. So
Hmm.
while
Hmm.
it's still technically summertime and it's always summer in Florida, ladies and gentlemen, give me the Dolphins to win. But I do think, again, as I mentioned about the AFC South, it is a division that is going to be the division of the future. Watch this division closely. So the Jacksonville Jaguars will put up a fight, but come on now, we talking about Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. It's the Dolphins. You know what I mean? Yeah, give me the
You got
Dolphins.
Mike McDonald looking like he's out there slinging coke in Miami. You love to see it, right? The
Still.
Curly McDonald is out there. Um, I I'm gonna be real here, man. Sucks that I'm alone on this one, but I just feel like this team is susceptible to be pushed around. And if anyone's
Mhm.
going to come into town and push around this Dolphins team, it is the Josh Allen. Will the real Josh Allen please stand up,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen? I'm a big fan of the Jaguars this season. I think this is the show me year for Trevor Lawrence, to say the
Yes.
least. I think obviously the wide receiver room, you could argue, took two steps forward to take one step back.
Mhm.
If I said that right, I don't think I did, but I think they made a lateral move, right?
Yes.
By losing Calvin Ridley, but picking up Ryan Thomas Jr. I think he's a dynamic player too that doesn't get enough credit for the kind of rookie he could be for this Jaguars team. But obviously, you don't expect that to come out early and often. I think Travis Etienne is really slept on as a back, and I think here he's really gonna carry the load as far as really gut punching Miami here. I think obviously you're going to have to contend with those big splash plays, which make this a very dangerous game. But so long as Trevor Lawrence doesn't end up too far out ahead of his skis and down two touchdowns early, I think the Jaguars should be able to edge this one out. Next up, we're moving on to the 4 p.m. window, ladies and gentlemen. Now, before I talk about this game, can we get an update on your pick, Derrick? Did we get a third overall selection?
Has CD Lamb. I'm drafting right now, trying to choose who I'm going to go with, which
Ooh,
position I'm looking at.
this is for your second round now, right?
This is the second round.
Okay.
Um,
Can we
yeah,
get a
this
live pick
is
here? Is that possible?
Come on.
yeah. You know what? I'm gonna go with God, man. I'm gonna go with I don't know how to say his name. A chain. I think that's how you say
Oh,
his
yep,
name.
Devontae A Chain. Look at that.
Yeah,
All the
yeah,
Miami players going off the
yeah.
board early. Makes sense why y'all
And
picked them. Shit.
yeah, now we're circling back. Dwayne's drafting right now.
All right,
Perfect.
let's
So
see.
I'll let you think about that, Dwayne. You don't have to make it. I'll announce the game. We've got the Browns, right? Is that who am I looking at here? Let me make sure that is correct because I don't want to.
No,
No, it's the
Broncos.
Broncos going up against the Seahawks in that first 4 o'clock window. I'm going to throw to you, Dwayne. So whenever you're ready, let us know who you're drafting and let us know who you're picking.
Let's do it. So I had back to back. It looks like. So on my last pick, I got Kyron Williams at running back, and then I turned around and went running back again. and got Travis Etienne Jr., ladies and
Wow.
gentlemen.
This man is on
Come on.
something. I like those
Yeah.
3 picks, especially in
Yeah.
succession.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
So
And
who
I
you got
am
in this
currently
Broncos?
drafting Debo Samuel.
Wow, look at
Oh,
that.
okay,
Breaking
okay.
news, ladies
I
and
see you,
gentlemen.
my brother. I see
You'd
you. I
love
see
to
you.
see it. Holy shit. So 2 receivers, 2 RBs. We got some interesting strategies here on the show. But let's get back on topic, Dwayne.
Let's do
Yes,
it,
sir.
brother.
You
Let's do
going
it.
with the 12th man here, or are you going with the Broncos on the road?
Man, we just talked about the Broncos, man, and I ain't gonna lie to you. I still don't trust this organization at all right now. They have a. We talked about quarterback curses with Washington, Derrick. I'm
Yeah.
starting to
Yeah.
think the Broncos are starting to have a quarterback curse of their own. And I'm at the point right now. I'm definitely going with the 12th man team. Come on, man. It's kind of like a default pick for me right now because I just don't trust the Broncos. I don't like any of the acquisitions. They may sneak up on us, but if they do, it's one of those foolish sneak ups. Like first 3 weeks they look like some team you want to trust, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, you are who we thought you were."
Derek, who you got?
Honestly, yeah, this isn't one of those pick'em games. I'm actually gonna go with the Broncos on this one. I think they can't. No, never mind. I'm gonna go with the Seahawks. You're at home, right?
Come
Yeah,
on,
never
man.
mind. Never mind. I just saw they're at home. That 12th man is hard to beat. I'm gonna go with the Seahawks on this one. That's gonna be too loud for them. But I do think that the Broncos will be a little bit better than what a lot of people expect them to be this year.
I agree,
Mm.
man. I think this is
Yeah.
fuck the quarterback curse. This is the Sean
Yeah.
Payton prove it year. I don't care what
Yeah.
they spent to acquire you. What you're doing needs to start making sense. Now, hear me out.
Yes.
I am a big fan of the Broncos' moves, despite a lot of people not liking them. Obviously, not a fan of letting Justin Simmons walk for nothing. Right?
Right. Right.
Just gotta
Right. Right.
start there. But
Right.
obviously, I love re-signing Pat Surtain, and most importantly, I think they're building an offense tailored around what Sean Payton wants to do. Now,
Mm-hmm.
the only thing that is confusing the fuck out of me as someone who is a very big Troy Franklin fan, right? I was huge on Troy Franklin coming out of Oregon, and it just so happens he played alongside Mr. Bo Nix for his college career. So these two are very familiar with each other. So that's an interesting pairing. But Sean Payton, what the fuck are you doing? Because this is 2 years in a row now, right? Where you draft a rookie receiver with a very high pick and they are buried during the preseason. Marvin Mims barely played last year.
Mm-hmm.
Devon Vele is getting more snaps than Troy Franklin is this year. Why are you drafting these guys and not giving them their burn? This feels like we are a couple steps away from an implosion, in all
Yeah.
honesty.
Yeah.
But on paper, I think the way they want this offense run, I think Bo Nix could do that. I say all this and butter all this up to say I'm still picking the Seahawks in this matchup. I'm a big fan of obviously their head coach, Mike McDonald, but I think the way they're built, it sucks to see Pete Carroll go as well.
Yes.
But the way they're built, I think this team is built to contend. I think they're really that good on offense, and people sleep on how good Ken Walker is. I think he's going to be a top 5 running back this year, so mark that down.
Okay.
But I think this is Jackson Smith and Jigba's year, especially considering right now that Tyler Lockett is currently dealing with some lower leg issues, which if you stumble out of the gate, somebody's got to get those targets. Obviously, DK is going to be the main focus of defenses here. So why not let loose on what was hands down the best receiver drafted last year, just in a tough situation to produce, similar to Roma Dunze this year. I like everything the Seahawks are building, and their home advantage puts them over the edge for me. So give me the Seahawks. Next up, we move on to the Raiders on the road against the Chargers. Two very new look offenses, new look teams, period. But both of these organizations, right? We could be real here, right? There's a lot of
Yeah.
fucking dirt and grime And I won't be surprised if both of these teams end up near the bottom of the league this year. Obviously, the Chargers look to be the bright spot.
Mhm.
But all things considered here, I think this is going to be closer than people anticipate because of the Raiders defense. I think the Raiders defense really does a lot to keep this team in games, especially late. I think this is the prove it year for Zamir White specifically because if he can be that bell cow for them and they don't miss a beat there, losing Josh Jacobs, obviously that all helps their offense and helps Gardner Minshew get some things done with, we all know, my God, Devontae Adams. But all things being considered here, I'm going to be picking the Chargers at home. I just think I know what this team is going to look like, right? Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins have been my backfield for 2+ years.
Yes.
Like this team is going to figure out a way to stretch drives and make things ugly, take some of the load off of Justin Herbert, who's dealing with some leg issues in his own right, which you hate to see. So hopefully everyone involved can stay healthy. But I like this team a lot more than anyone gives them credit for. So give me the Chargers.
You want to go Dwayne or you me?
I can go, man. I got a little time before we draft again, so let's see. For me, this is an interesting one because I think both of these teams can come out of nowhere a little bit here. One thing about a hardball, you don't bet against a hardball because these hardballs know how to win. It's no coincidence that a hardball is getting the sloppy seconds of the other hardball, though. So, because I don't trust the health of the ones on that Chargers team right now. Now, when they're healthy, I'll probably pick them more. But right now, go ahead and give me the Raiders. Actually, I feel like the Raiders are going to definitely sleep on people, and I think they're gonna be a sneaky team.
Like that.
Whew. Um, I want to choose the Chargers here. Excuse me. But I'm thinking about how Crosby is going to have a field day with that offensive line. Um, so I'm going to go with the Raiders on this one, but I do think that the Chargers are going to look better than what they have looked in the last couple of years.
Mm,
So give me the Raiders with this one.
okay,
Wow, look at that. I'm on an
let's
island.
go.
God damn it.
Let's go.
Next up, that Antonio Pierce effect. Next up,
Yeah.
I've got
Yeah.
the good old Cowgirls on the road going up against the Cleveland Browns. Holy
Mhm.
shit. Shout out Jerry Jones. Finally pulled out the checkbook, but somewhere
Mm,
Dakota Rain is taking notes.
mm, mm,
And
mm.
it's looking bad for keeping the band together in the land of the stars. It's only right
Yeah.
that we lead the dance with the biggest cowboy hater in the land. Derrick, how you feeling about this 4 p.m. thriller?
4 p.m. thriller. You know what? They're in Cleveland, right?
Mhm.
Believeland, yes.
I want to. I don't know. Give it to me, man. I'm gonna take the Browns on this one. I think that I think that the Browns have a lot of nice pieces this year, and I think that they can do a lot of good things. Um, I believe the strength for the Dallas Cowboys this year will be their defense. Their offense is lacking, in my opinion, and I don't think that I don't think they're going to do a lot of things that people think they're going to do. I mean, of course, that's every year, right? But I don't see it. I don't see it. Give me give me the Browns on this one. I can't trust Dallas.
Yep. Especially when a lot of those pieces on the offensive line got retooled with rookies, right? You gotta
Yeah,
gotta look at this a little sideways. But
yeah.
Dwayne, I'm throwing to you, baby. Who you got?
Ooh, boy, listen. All right, I'm gonna be real with you when I say this, dog. I'm gonna be real with you when I say this. For real, for real. I ain't gonna hold you. Life's a botch, man. You know, I'm gonna throw a little wrestling reference in here for a second because here's the funny thing, right? Every time they seem to come, they've been doing a lot of stadium shows as of late, and every time they seem to come to a certain city, it don't do well for the NFL team. Then it's just almost like a Madden curse effect in a way, right? So, SummerSlam, ironically, this past summer, was actually right there in the heart of Cleveland. And usually when I see that tells me, yep, don't bet on that team. Then, I'm not saying WWE's got a curse on people. I'm just saying, sometimes it don't look too good for them. So, for me personally, I'm gonna take the Cowboys on this one because they gotta bait people and make you think when they get the first win. Oh, we're going to the Super Bowl. You know it, Derrick. This is the setup.
Mm.
And remember, I told you about the first couple of weeks. But when we just talked about Deshaun Watson, and I think this is one of those cases. I'm rooting for him to be better, but I think we're gonna see that continual decline where we're gonna start scratching some heads. Like, yeah, it might be time to move on. May not have been worth that money after all. So, yeah, give me Dallas.
Damn, man. I hate having the tiebreaker here because honestly, I was firm in my position that I was going with Dallas here, and now I got no fucking clue. It really comes down to defenses, right? And at
Yes,
this
sir.
point, I mean, I kind of tipped my hand a little bit with our discussion of this earlier, but both
Yeah.
of these defenses are awesome, and
Yeah.
you hate to depend on Deshaun Watson with Micah
Yeah.
Parsons on his way to do terrible things in honor of a lot of different people. But
Mhm.
I think that fuck it. You know what? I'm already picking everyone in the North. Give me the Browns to defend Believeland here just because I think
Okay,
defensively they're going to be a step ahead. Next up, our
let's see it.
final 4 p.m. window game. We've got the Washington Commanders. A lot of people are signing petitions to make them back the Redskins. I don't know if that's a
All
discussion we're going to have again, but
right.
Commanders was never a good name. I'm just saying. But
Hmm.
we are the Commanders this year, so we'll leave it at that. On the road against the Bucks, I'll lead the dance with this one. I think the Commanders are very much so in that transitional period. I think it's going to take a huge, monumental RG3 type season to make Jaden McDaniels be that rookie of the year candidate, right?
Hmm.
I think
Hmm.
ultimately, though, I think this team is going to be a lot better come week 12 than they are early on. I just think there's a lot for them to figure out as a team and as an offense early. I think this Bucks team is going to come in here rolling, man. I think there's something to say about the spirit of a team, and if anyone knows about that, it's Derrick, right? But upsetting the Eagles last year and really looking like a force, right? I mean, single-handedly bringing together a narrative that was so amazing on this show, right? Where I don't know if you caught wind of this, Dwayne. Sorry, I do this every fucking time we talk
Come
about
on,
these teams, Derrick. I'm
come on.
sorry.
I
What's up,
know.
brother?
But
I know.
holy shit, I called it that one day Baker Mayfield would lead a team to a playoff win
Yeah.
Yeah,
simultaneously, before Cam Newton ever signs with the franchise. And it just so happened to get done against Derek's Eagles, man.
I
So
man, I
Yeah.
I gotta give you your flowers for that one, bro. I can't even hold you. That was a you are the definition when they say faith is the substance of all things hoped for, my friend, and you held on to that, and it came to fruition. I'm proud of you, my brother.
I don't know. And there was times where it looked bleak and I
It
was
looked
still
bleak.
bringing that shit up. I'm like, nah,
Yeah.
I'm telling you. And somehow we got there. But I think there's something to say about the soul of a team. And I think this team is just in a really good spot right now. You saw that clip of Todd Bowles. He's fired up and ready to rock.
Hmm.
I just like everything that's going on there in Tampa Bay. I'm not sure that they're a playoff team, but I'm rooting for them. I'll say that. So give me the Bucks.
Okay, not mad
Yeah.
at it. Hmm.
You want
You
to take
know,
it, Dwayne?
Yeah, I guess I could take this one too, man. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, you kind of convinced me about Baker. He's one of those interesting individuals coming into this season. Talk about flowing under the radar because he's been such a roller coaster over his career so far. This could be one of those situations we talk about Jameis Winston, how you mentioned with Cleveland. Um, this is the same case with Baker. His whole career is like comeback player of the year. So, woo, I think just because of how Chris convinced me on this one, I'm gonna lean on the Baker effect for this. I think the Bucks are gonna edge this one out, just barely, but I think they're gonna edge this out.
Yeah, I'm going with the Buccaneers on this one as well. I think Washington is going to be fun to watch this year.
Mm.
I won't. I'm not going to sleep on them, to be honest. But I think they're going to be fun to watch. I don't have much expectations, but um, yeah, the Buccaneers. They've been together longer. I think the Commanders are going through a transitional period, so I don't have I don't think they're gonna. It's gonna be so much you can put on them expectation wise, but yeah, I'm give me the Buccaneers this year. Uh, um, your boy got paid, Chris. So
Yeah. I just who's my boy? I'm so confused. Got paid. What did I miss?
hmm?
Mm.
What did I miss? Who got paid?
Mayfield, Mayfield, he got
Oh,
paid.
yes. Yes. I'm so sorry. I thought I
Yeah.
heard the ESPN notifications. I'm like, wait, who the fuck just got paid? Uh,
Oh, I bet.
no, you're good. You're good. That was me spacing out there. It's only right that we move on to Sunday night football. And I know I said this a couple times already, but this is another dark horse for game of the week. Holy shit. We've got the revenge game, right? The
Mm.
narrative all last year about this game was the revenge game, and we got a hell of a game there too. We got the
hmm
Rams on the road in Detroit for Sunday night football. I've been waiting all year for Sunday night, motherfuckers. Holy
Mm.
shit.
Yeah,
Come
This
yeah.
on,
is a game. This is a game. So it's only right that we ask for guidance from the pop father himself. Derrick, lead the dance.
come on now.
Well, I just drafted Jared Goff as my backup QB. Um, so I'm going to go with the Lions on this one. I do believe it's going to be a very close game, but
Mm.
you're at home. And I think with that momentum from last year, the Lions are going to have they're gonna have something that they're gonna be that's a lot of fire that's gonna be there lit under themselves. So I'm going with the Lions on this one, but I do think it could be possibly one of those games where we're looking at it as like that could be this one could actually be a sneaky one for game of the week as well.
Mm.
I Sunday night it's so weird because like Thursday night football, for the most part, is usually trash. Sunday night football is so fun for some. I don't know. I don't get it, but yeah, give me the Lions on this one. I think they're gonna do well with this.
You just want to keep us up late before work. That's exactly what it
Right,
fucking is.
right.
they like doing that. Yeah, you can tell they
Yeah,
throw an
Yeah.
extra coin in there. You know what I'm
exactly.
saying?
So I went back and forth on this one. Not gonna lie, for a very long time, and I still don't feel very confident in this. I think
Right.
people are sleeping on how good the Rams are. Honestly,
Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
the
Yes.
Rams are fucking phenomenal, and I think
Yes.
a guy like Puka Nakua falling in their lap. Holy shit, that was an
Crazy.
amazing pickup. And also,
Crazy.
I say it every fucking time. I'm just gonna say it again. An amazing pickup by your guy as well. Got him in the third round rookie draft and
hmm
fucking flourished off of it. Because you know why? I traded that man and flipped him and got Pat Mahomes. So you love to see
Yeah.
it.
Whoa,
But
come on now.
Yeah.
all
Good
things
stuff.
can right for a third rounder. That's not bad, ladies and gentlemen. But I think this game ultimately, as I continue to pat myself on the back, this game really comes down to who can control the ball more. And god damn it, the Lions are built to do that.
Come
Um,
on.
Mhm.
I think there's a big chance though that the Rams go out early and they end up ahead two scores and this game never looks like it was in reach. Like I think their
Mm,
offense is that good and
mm.
on pace to do some special stuff this year. But I just feel the exact same way about the Lions. and I trust their defense a little bit more at this time. Now, Jared Verse and Brandon Fisk are the names to remember on this
Yes.
Rams team. You love to see college teammates come together in the league and find
Mhm.
themselves in a position to flourish. I think nobody can replace Aaron Donald, but both of these guys are going to fill in really nicely in some of those many roles that he held for this team. Obviously,
Mhm.
a big void there, but I think it's going to be filled pretty nicely. And when you consider the offense is looking even better, I really like the Rams this year, but I'm going with the Lions. God damn it.
Ooh.
What they got going is too special, and I won't be surprised if we end up seeing them in the Super Bowl either.
Okay.
Holy shit, would you look at that? Dwayne, it is
Come on.
your turn.
Come on. Ah, man. You know what? Whew, boy. I guess you know what I'm saying. We you gotta love live action. You know what I'm saying in terms of being able to draft on a live sideline guys episode while being able to make live picks at the same time. So y'all both make interesting cases with this matchup here because again, I got the Lions as my Super Bowl pick as far as getting to the Super Bowl. You know, redeeming themselves. So I think this is that case where they start off hot. You know, I think they're gonna have a little bit of most teams had their controversy a little bit through the middle of the season. You know, injuries, whatever it may be, but they're gonna have that hot start to remind people, hey, we contenders and we're not pretenders. You know, that wasn't a fluke last season. We finna go all the way. And as far as my live pick right about now, let's see. You know what? Yeah, your boy. I gotta go with my boy Xavier Worthy, man. We gotta see what Worthy made of in a Patrick Mahomes offense, baby. And then I got another pick right now in my other draft. And you know what? I ain't gonna lie, still plenty on the board here. I'm not even gonna hold y'all.
While you
But
think of that, I just quickly got to make this point. I love
go ahead.
Xavier Worthy this year, but
Come
I
on.
love him more in best ball. Derrick, I hope you can relate, right? I picked him here, so I have him on my team. But
Okay,
when
okay.
think about this,
Yeah.
right? Do you know what best ball is, Dwayne? Are you familiar?
Best ball. Light me in. Put me on game. What's
Yes,
that?
so it's a version of fantasy football that
Okay.
Derrick and I started a OTS draft this year for with the dynasty element. So the way this draft works is all the players we drafted are
Mm-hmm.
ours forever until we trade them or they are no longer in the NFL. They are on
Okay.
our team.
Okay.
And the way best ball works is you do not set a lineup. So at the end of the
Okay.
week on Monday, after all the games are done,
Mm-hmm.
your starting lineup is all the players on your team that scored the most points in those slots. So it'll automatically be assigned whoever scored the most points.
Okay.
In that format, Xavier Worthy is fucking amazing to have because we know he's going
Yeah.
to have splash weeks,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
those in between weeks are going to be fucking rough. Axe Marquez Valdez Scantling, right? So
Yeah.
best
Good point.
ball is truly where the Xavier Worthy value lies. But I'm sorry, I just went on a fucking rant there.
I love that. I
Um,
love that. Okay.
back to you, Dwayne. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Who
No,
is your next
no.
pick?
Who's my next pick? So, ladies and gentlemen, I just drafted Brian Robinson Jr. at running back, and believe it or not, he is not my starter. That is on my bench for that specific league. So, he's actually
Somebody cue,
come
somebody
on,
cue many men. I need the
come
many
on,
men to drop right now.
come on now, let's go.
So Rams Lions, Dwayne, who you got?
Rams lands. Okay, so I thought I made my pick for that one, guys. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sticking with my Super Bowl pick in terms of getting to the Super Bowl. I'm a winner. I told you my winner earlier in the show, y'all. But I gotta go with the Lions, man. They're gonna have a hot start. I think they're gonna have a hot start, and then they might, suffer that mid-season kind of decline, like what Derrick used to say about the Bills. You know how they kind of had that
Mm.
mid-season triumph a little bit, and then they get back on track because they know like, oh, it's time to play ball for real again, and then boom, playoffs, baby. So give me the Lions, man.
Three Lions. We might look fucking dumb next week, but we have made it to our Monday night football game. God damn it! And this one's a doozy. We've got a defensive mastermind with the Jets on the road going up against your NFC champions, the 49ers. Dwayne, I'm throwing to you early and often. Who you got?
I got to go against the 49ers this year. And most games, not every game, but most games. You know why? They are the team that is the product of that there Madden curse, ladies and gentlemen. Which means, unfortunately for them, they are that team that is not going to live up to their expectation this year. So it's gonna affect them some kind of way. I always that Madden curse never fails in some kind of way. It's either an injury bug all throughout the season. Poor CMC, he's on the cover, so you know what that means. You can have him fantasy. Best of luck to you if you drafted him, because I'm telling you now, injuries are coming his way. But nonetheless, if it don't affect him, I feel like it affects the team as a whole. And if he's not hurt, the team around him. Uh
Oh,
oh.
damn. So you're going with the Jets? I just want to make sure you're going with the Jets there.
Yeah, I think this is
Okay.
we're gonna finally see what we didn't get to see due to first snap Achilles injury.
Uh,
We're actually gonna see what the Jets could have been. This is the could have been year for the Jets.
I love it. Derek, you get to be the tiebreaker because I'm going with the 49ers, man. I think this one is really
Yeah.
easy. I think coming off of that kind of an injury, this is a tough team to face week one.
Mm.
And I'm sorry, but I signing a lot of old fucking dudes for your offensive line just never feels good, right? As
True.
the as and it worked for Dallas the last couple years, but it can get a little dicey. So
Yeah.
definitely worried about this Jets front line. Now, ultimately, I'm big on their offense, so I think this is not panic mode. They're just going to show up against a team that is better than them and younger than them in the positions that it matters. So I'm going to go with the 49ers. Who you got, Derek, to take us home?
Come on.
Yes, I'm taking the 49ers. You're at home. Like you said, it's a very tough game to come back on. And I'm a little worried. I'm a little worried for Aaron Rodgers with this game, man. He makes it through this game, I think he'll be okay. But I don't know. I don't know. I think this is going to be a very interesting game. Hopefully he's okay after this game is over. But yeah, give me the 49ers with this one. I think because you're at home, you're also going to have um, that fan base there that's going to be loud. It's going to be very loud in there, and of course, they have the belief that they're going to go all the way this year. So I don't see the Jets winning this game, but I will say I think it might be a close game. I think it could be a close game. All plays out well. Aaron Rodgers is standing up after this game, and he's all good to go. I think that we'll be looking at a game that's going to be very close.
You know what I'm looking forward to? A Rod just unironically running out there with that American flag again. He doesn't
Bro.
care that he became a meme last year, god damn it. I promise you all, he's gonna do the exact same shit this time. I
Yes.
promise.
Yes, he is.
And if he gets injured again, holy shit, that's gonna be sadistically hilarious, I will admit. But
Yeah.
I'm excited to throw to you guys, Derek, on the way out. Why don't you remind the people where to find you? But also, why don't you run
Yes.
down what your fantasy team is looking like
Come
as of right
on.
now?
As of
Break it.
right now, it's a two receiver, two running back league. So got Lamar Jackson is at QB, CD Lamb wide receiver one, Debo Samuel at two, a chain at running back. I have I know I'm probably messing his name up, so it's all good. But um, uh, uh, Tajai Spears,
Tajay
Tajay
Spears.
Spears.
Tajay Spears, have him at
Ooh.
running back. Mark
Okay.
Andrews at tight end. Tank Dell at the flex. Baltimore at my defense. I am right now trying to choose if I'm gonna go kicker or backup defense. I might go. I'm gonna
Shit,
go backup defense and
go
get
run it back.
Buffalo.
Go run it
Oh,
back.
running back. Hey, listen. I'll tell you my. Ooh, should I go Gus Edwards on this one?
Yeah, hell yeah, go Gus. Hell yeah.
I go Gus as a backup Q or backup running back as well.
Look at that.
Yeah,
All
because I
the
have Jerome.
Ravens, former Ravens. You love to see it.
Yeah. I'll go with him. I know Dwayne's just heard me. He might try and grab him.
Yeah, you got me. You got me on
But
that
yeah,
one. It's
I
all
got
good.
Jared Goff as a backup QB.
Nice.
Let's see. We got Jalen Reed. We have Njoku as a backup tight end. Jerome
Really
Ford.
good at tight end.
Yeah, Jerome Ford. And Gus Edwards. I just need. Mm, I messed up. I usually do two QBs. I mean two defenses and a kicker. Two kickers. I do two of those. So I
Oh,
messed
really?
up with this one now. Yeah.
I'm usually one to flex a kicker, but I like it.
Yeah.
Forced to change the strategy because of our
Yeah.
insight. You love to see it. Derek, why don't you
Yeah.
remind the people where they can find you?
Oh yeah, you can follow me at Derrick underscore OTS. That's Derrick, the black way to spell it,
I was about to
Okay.
say, you can't mess up the spelling when the
bro.
spelling's your thing, bro. Hold on.
Look, this has been a rough day.
I
I
feel that.
got I got I got a funny story for Derek when it comes to that spelling, man. I meant to share this with you, and I finally got that moment. Recently, I had a fitness coach who trains, she has a young team of individuals, and one of her proteges actually, his name is Derek, and I had the honor of actually during his first fitness competition making his tracksuit, and
Oh, wow.
I actually spelt his name wrong because his name is spelled Derek with an R, Derick, one R,
Oh my god.
including his father. So I initially
Yeah,
thought, I'm
both
like,
of them wrong.
it's,
Both of them are wrong.
it's
Hey, that's Derrick. All right, that's the
Yeah,
homie, but that's
exactly.
Derrick. Like that.
hey man, you gotta love it, dude. You gotta love it. I was just like, well, I guess that's what we're rolling with, man. So I just had to share that with you,
I love it. Top to
brother.
bottom. Why don't you update us on your fantasy team and then remind the people where they can find you?
For sure. So let's start with our famous OTS league that we're all drafting in right now as we speak, ladies and gentlemen. So far, my quarterback, or I guess my starters in general, we got CJ Stroud at QB, Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, Kyron Williams, Travis Etienne Jr., George Kittle at tight end, with Zay Flowers technically right now as it stands as my flex option. I chose the Houston defense because I feel like that's a sneaky defense people got to watch out for. Deontay Johnson on the bench, Jaden Daniels as my backup QB. You know, that should be interesting to see how he shines. Xavier Worthy, as I mentioned. Brock Bowers, who is a tight end to look out for, ladies and gentlemen. So watch that name. And of course, I got to go with the OG. You know, I had to get a Titan in there somewhere. My boy D Hop, guaranteed to get you some certified catches if nothing else. So yeah, man, that's what we're looking like.
I love it. And where could the people find you? Remind them.
For sure, for sure. You guys can find your boy on all platforms at Hi-Lite Life. That is high like HI. Light as in LITE, and life is just regular old life. You know what I'm saying? So holla at your boy.
And that's life. Make sure you're following the brand at OTS Media Co. on all social media platforms. Thank you
So,
so much for tuning in with us, sticking along. We've got all of the coverage for this 2024-25 NFL season coming at you steady and smooth, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. Looking forward to next week. And please remember, ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to make a splash week one, just remember that there was this guy named Eric Bieniemy that once used to grace this league that should have been the goddamn greatest ever. But guess what? He went over there and tainted the UCLA franchise. And now I got them motherfuckers losing too. So guess what? Don't be the number one enemy. Don't be Mr. Bieniemy. Get some fucking dubs week one and let's keep this thing going. We'll see you next week. Peace.